Welcome back to Collector Not Hoarder. This is Tom. I'm getting my second video out in the past week, so I'm pretty proud of myself here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay on this crazy roll right now, but this video, I want to talk about postcards. Postcards have been a big part of what I collect, and you can see here, background. I always like to throw up some cards here in the background just to have something else to look at other than a blank wall. But I collect boxing, so that's a 1908 Health and Strength boxing postcard of Tom Thomas. I got a non-sports card here. It said 1915 SNA Charlie Chaplin. And then some wrestling. This is a 1908 Health and Strength of George Hackenschmidt. So I've always enjoyed doing postcards and trying to incorporate them into my collecting. And you know, I've said it before, I am originally a baseball collector, and I took some detours over the years. And just over the last several months, I've been kind of like finding my passion again to pick up some more baseball stuff. Even though I still love the non-sports, I love the boxing, the cricket, you know, just whatever it is, I like collecting a lot of randomness. But right now, I'm kind of going after some early 1900s baseball stuff. And I've been really enjoying that. You know, as I showed in one of my previous videos, I'm just going to set this up here. This was actually kind of the start to it, and that was finding this 1906 Jimmy Collins postcard. And then I also shared this 1907 Steubenville Stubbs postcard. And these kind of were my gateway to starting to look up some baseball stuff. And what I did was I like to try to incorporate personal meaning to some of the stuff I collect. You know, like I mentioned before with the Steubenville, this was very Ohio related and semi like family related. I know there's really no tie to this Jimmy Collins here, you know, me personally, but when you give me a Hall of Fame baseball player that's already graded and it's a clean card, no writing on the back, like for $60, like I will take that 10 out of 10 times. So I don't really need a tie for that. That's just what I consider a deal. So I'm going to go for deals like that all the time. But as for these cards that I have to show, I only have 4 cards here, but I want to go through them and kind of give some explanations of why I picked them up. And I'm actually from Ohio. I've mentioned that several times. I'm sure you're sick of hearing that. I'm from Ohio, live in Texas, but my roots are in Ohio. That's where all my family's at. That's why I lived until I was 35 years old. So I'm 40 years old now. I lived there for 35 years. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, moved to Southeast Ohio. So I've been up and down I-77 in Ohio my entire life. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to find some turn-of-the-century baseball postcards. And being an Ohio guy, you know, I would love to find, you know, some Cleveland Nap stuff. I'd love to have some Cy Young, some Nap Lajoie, some Matty Joss. Like, who wouldn't want that stuff? A lot of that stuff is not in my wheelhouse at the moment, price range-wise. So I try to find the next best thing and try to incorporate stuff into my life that way. And the first card we're going to talk about, this is the 1906 Columbus Senators team postcard. So this is an awesome looking postcard, great team shot. Down at the bottom it says, twice champions of the American Association. They actually won the American Association in 1905 and 1906. That's why it says twice champions, but then also in 1907. So they had 3 years in a row where they were the champions. This card, it doesn't have any like Hall of Famers on it, but it does have guys that are represented in the T206 set. So I can pick up guys from T206 on this team card and get it for a fraction of the price. So like on here, I can't put faces to these names. I was on Net54 and I found the names on there and who would be on this team. at this time. And they say in this picture you have Heine Berger, you have Bill Clymer, Ollie Pickering, Bill Hinchman, and Rudy Holswit. So, you know, I'm not super familiar with a lot of those guys. I haven't dug into them to find out anything about them, see how long they even played for, but they are represented on this card and in the T206 set. So it's kind of a cool segue into having some of those guys. The back of the card, it is not posted, but it does have George written on the back here, and that is in pen, so not able to get that off. It says here on the side that this is a Columbus Dispatch postcard, and it's actually part of a set of 16 postcards. So this is a really cool one to have, and it pulls into Ohio for me, like through Columbus. And I wanted to show, let's see, their home stadium. So this is a 1908 postcard of Neal Park in Columbus. So Neal Park was actually their home field from 1900 to 1932. And actually in 1902 and 1903, the Cleveland Naps played games here at this stadium as well. And then also through the 1920s, there was some Negro League games that took place here at this stadium. And just a great image of the grandstands here. And on the back, this is one of the things you always hope for. You always hope for some kind of cool message on the back, and this one doesn't disappoint. So this one, I'm gonna read it to you. My reading's always atrocious whenever I do this. So this is dated July 1st, and it says, "Friend Hyson," says, "I will drop you this card to let you know I am well, and I hope you are the same. I received your card. Tell Chick this is where him and I will see Columbus defeat Indianapolis when he comes over next week." So he's referring to this as, this is the stadium where they're going to go see the Senators defeat the Indianapolis Indians. Hopefully defeat them. So this is actually dated 1908 on the postcard, and so he's got a date of July 1st. Tried looking up the Senators' schedule. I had a really hard time finding the full season schedule, but coincidentally, there was a game in September. It was September 3rd, 1908, where the Columbus Senators played the Indianapolis Indians. And you know what happened that night? I'm sure some of you guys that are baseball history guys know what happened. And September 3rd, 1908, Mr. Rube Marquard was the pitcher for the Indianapolis Indians, and he threw a no-hitter against the Columbus Senators. So the guy that was dogging on Indianapolis in this card, if I could find out if possibly that's the game that's maybe referenced here, which I highly doubt because it's 2 months out from when this is dated, so I'm sure they played Indianapolis again, but he was dogging on the Indians pretty hard, saying that the Senators were going to defeat them. But that same season, Indianapolis, Rube Marquard, Hall of Fame pitcher Rube Marquard, pitched a no-hitter against them. So pretty interesting there. I thought that was kind of a neat tie-in. Next, I want to go to, this is actually my hometown. So I tried finding stuff from my hometown. I grew up in Canton. And this is the 1906 Canton Chinamen of the Central League. And somebody wrote on here that they finished third that season. So in 1906, Chinamen finished third, and in 1907, they also finished third. This card actually doesn't have any Hall of Famers on it either, but there are some major leaguers that did make it. And one being Dick Carroll, then Fred Osborne, Harry Ostick, and Willie Wilson. Probably butchered at least one of those names. But so once again, you can get some major league guys on a minor league team card. And this one, no cool message on the back, even though it is posted to somebody here in Canton, Ohio. There isn't a stamp on it, so I don't know how it got actually posted. But they did want to send it at least. But this was a pretty tough team here. And to tie in with this, I came across this one. This is William Britson. He was a pitcher on the Canton Chinamen. He joined the Chinamen in 1906, but he's not pictured here. This picture would have been early in 06. He joined later in 06, so he's not in this team picture. But he was with them in 07, 08, and I think maybe part of 09. He was actually a pretty decent pitcher. He was in the minor leagues for about 8 seasons. He had a record of 79 and 58. But on the back of this card, it's addressed to Mr. Bert Britson in Rockwell City, Iowa. So Bert Britson is actually William Britson's brother. I went on a site, I found a family tie, and so he, I believe he went by Bert Britson. And on the side here, William would have wrote, "This is it, right soon." So I'm guessing, you know, he's just stating like, here I am, I'm on a postcard, here's my baseball picture on a postcard, check it out. And so how cool is that? This was sent to his brother. This is, you know, me just speculating, but sent to his brother in 1908, whenever he was playing for the Canton Chinamen. And now this is in my hands. So awesome, awesome, awesome. So whenever I went on and I found William Britson, I actually came across his headstone where he's actually buried at. And he's buried at a cemetery that's very, very close to the hospital I was born at. And which is just kind of bizarre all in itself. But in 1916 or 1917, I'd have to look back at the story, I forget the exact date, he actually shot and killed his daughter's fiance or boyfriend, I'm not sure which it was at the time, but he was a heavy drinker, he was a little drunk, not super happy with his daughter at the moment, I believe, dating this certain guy, and he shot and killed him inside his house, and then went out back of his house, shot and killed himself. So it was like a murder-suicide that was committed by him. So in 1916, I think it was, he killed a 19-year-old kid and then killed himself. So crazy, crazy story about this guy. And, you know, and on the back he wrote, "To his brother." So that's never thought I'd come across something like that, and especially have a story like that goes along with it. But that is actually all I have for right now. And you know, I'm gonna keep digging out some more baseball postcards. I've had a lot of fun like researching some of this stuff, finding some of these guys, maybe had some ties to the major leagues, or you know, actually some T206 cards, and finding this stuff for, you know, under $100, a lot of times even under $50. So I guess I'll keep hunting, and don't forget, there's a fine line between a collector and a hoarder. Which one are you?